Chalk Stadium, named after Southern California collegiate coach Chalk Sportsman and located on the campus of San Diego State University. Here, such greats as Fred Dreyer, Arnie Robinson, and Brian Sipe trained to defend the honor of the Fighting Aztecs. And today, this will be the scene of the 20th annual presentation of the Arco Jesse Owens Games National Championships. For the past 2 decades, kids from throughout the country have competed within the structure of this dynamic, youth-oriented competition. Its founder, 4-time gold medal winner Jesse Owens, wanted nothing more than to provide the opportunity for participation in a well-organized, meaningful experience. As the official role model for Olympic Youth Games, this series has more than met his dream. And as an added bonus, the Arco Jesse Owens Games have also proven to be the point from which some of the nation's greatest athletes have grown. Most notably, the remarkable Howard sisters, world-class track trio, and the astounding Carl Lewis, winner of 4 gold medals in this year's Olympics. Hello and welcome. I'm Joe Campanella. You're about to witness the culmination of months of preparation, which included hundreds of preliminary meets and over 1 million youngsters throughout the country. And working with me today to help bring you all the stories surrounding this unique American phenomenon is Gary Gerald, NBC sports commentator and track and field analyst. Gary?
Thank you, Joe. And you talk about excitement. I've just had an opportunity to spend some time with some of these youngsters that we're going to be seeing competing today, and you would think that they were about to run and jump in the recently held Olympics. These kids are pumped. And why shouldn't they be? They represent the best, selected through the demanding process of competitive elimination to represent their respective regions of the country. Now, each one of them has, in turn, proven that he or she is capable of winning. And you can bet that every one of them here today is looking for a repeat performance. Now, to help us understand what it's like from the competitor's point of view, will be someone working with us who knows all about the pressures of competition. 5 times an Olympian, twice silver medalist for the United States, Willie White.
Thank you, Gary. And you're right. Everyone is a winner here at the Arco Jesse Owens Games. That was a guiding principle upon which Jesse Owens founded these games 20 years ago. He believed that the opportunity to compete and learn was the single most important thing that he could give the kids of this country. When just a few short weeks ago, Carl Lewis achieved his personal dream of equaling Jesse's outstanding 1936 record of 4 gold medals in a single Olympic year. You can bet that had Jesse been there, he would have been the first to congratulate him. Jesse was that kind of man, always sharing, eager to see other people succeed. But keep in mind that he always taught that taking part, trying your best and respecting one another was the most important thing. Regardless of the outcome of today's events, if each of these kids learn those 3 things, it will all be worth it. To quote Jesse Owens, the purpose of these games is this: to develop champions on and off the field. Joe?
Well, Willie, if what we have witnessed throughout the preliminary and regional events leading to today's final is any indication, these kids have all demonstrated their understanding of the principles behind these games. Everywhere we went, we saw boys and girls trying their hardest to meet the ideals set by Jesse Owens. The city of Buffalo, New York, located on the shore of Lake Erie and noted for its summertime romance with all manner of water sports, its dynamic professional football team, and its long, cold winters, was the scene for a regional that drew competitors from a 3-state area plus Canada. There we watched as David Vernouille of Fort Erie, Ontario, worked his way through the preliminary heats, and in the final went on to upset the field and surprise himself with his accomplishment.
It's pretty nice. I'm surprised at what I did, and I'm pretty happy with it.
From there, we traveled to the shadow of snow-capped Mount Baker in the great Northwest. Timber country, blessed with all the scenic wonder you could ask for, in which one finds Bellingham, Washington, a town known for producing kids that just don't know how to give up. There, Phil Heaven won the 400-meter in boys Group 3, the oldest age group competing, with apparent ease. But when we spoke with him, we discovered that it hadn't, after all, been so easy.
It's my third try. I finally did it.
How do you think you'll do in San Diego?
I don't know, but it's just getting down there counts to me.
Oh, well, we met a lot of kids just like Phil, kids who kept on trying regardless of the outcome. But in Louisville, Kentucky, we met someone who tried perhaps just a little bit harder than most. Lori Morgan of Newport, Indiana, won the high jump in the Group 2 age bracket after having endured what had to be as tough a commute as you might imagine. You talk about dedication. Oh.
Well, the bus took about 3.5 to 4 hours to get here from the bus. That was from Terre Haute, and it takes about 45 minutes to get to Terre Haute from Newport.
Boy, I sure wouldn't want Lori in charge of my travel schedule. Next came Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, a city used to providing these games with kids determined to make a mark on the world. Remember Kelly Nola, the little deaf girl who high jumped her way into our hearts 2 years ago? Well, this year we met a young man who made no bones about what his goals were. Tom Pryor won the long jump and then explained why it was so important for him to do well in this competition founded by Jesse Owens.
Giving him glory and achieving stuff for yourself and get scholarships for college and track.
Good for you, Tom, and best of luck to you. From the northern climes of Pittsburgh, we then traveled really north to Fairbanks, Alaska. Fairbanks and Anchorage both provide teams to the national event each year and contribute a raw enthusiasm that is hard to match. And this year, Fairbanks will feature a young lady high jumper who planned her way right down to San Diego and proved she had the determination to do something she had never before done.
My strategy was just to go out there and have a good time, do the best that I could, and try to win.
Well, Sarah, you sure showed them how that day. Finally, we visited the boom town of the 1980s, Houston, Texas. By the time the dust settled, 28 enthusiastic kids had been selected, and with one short statement summed up the feelings of the finalists on all 13 teams here today. Oh, and so they did, at least for the 364 winning kids from all across the nation. Those roads lead to Chalk Stadium on the campus of San Diego State University and the opportunity of a lifetime. The 20th annual Arco Jesse Owens Games, the national finals, will commence in just a moment.
Somebody squeeze me a glass of Tropicana.
Squeeze me a glass of Tropicana. Squeeze me a glass of Tropicana orange juice.
Now Tropicana has a new, fresher taste. Tropicana orange juice from concentrate tastes so fresh, so juicy, you'll swear you squeezed it yourself.
Squeeze me a glass of Tropicana.
Squeeze me.
A glass of Tropicana.
If you want a great price on a full-size Pontiac, your time is running out. Because you only have until September 1st to take advantage of $600 cash back on full-size Pontiacs at your Chicagoland and Northwestern Indiana Pontiac dealers. This is the only time you'll be able to get one of these luxurious full-size Parisiennes with the added luxury of $600 cash back. But remember, this offer ends September 1st. Hurry to your Chicagoland Pontiac dealers. Time is going fast. And so are the cars.
Representing the United States of America, 200 meters.
No one knows what a child will grow up to be. But whatever it is, it takes a lot of energy to guide and encourage him to strive for excellence. And it's excellence that leads to success. That's why for 20 years, Arco, Atlantic Richfield, has helped children pursue excellence with the Arco Jesse Owens Games. A track program for youngsters who just love to run, jump, dash. Because Arco is committed to using its energy to help our children become the best they can be. We put our energy into excellence.
At San Diego's Chalk Stadium, I'm Gary Gerald along with Joe Campanella and Willie White, awaiting now the ceremonial lighting of the torch that will officially kick off the 20th annual Arco Jesse Owens Games. Gold medalists from last year, Brian Weiler and Tammy Stiles, carrying the torch into the infield. Let's go down onto the surface of the stadium now to check with Joe on today's events.
The 13 teams competing today consist of 28 athletes apiece, 14 boys and 14 girls. For fairness of competition, the youngsters are divided into 3 age groups and compete against athletes their own age. Each athlete may participate in only one event. The running events we'll be seeing today are the 50-meter, 100-meter, 200-meter, and 400-meter runs. Only the youngest athletes, ages 10 and 11, run the 50-meter dash. All age groups run the longer 100-meter and 200-meter sprints. These sprints require a combination of a quick start with instant acceleration. The longer 400-meter distance race, run only by the older age groups, relies on a steady pace, endurance, and a strong finish. The jumping events are, of course, the long jump and the high jump. Both of these events combine speed and balance skills in approach, takeoff, and landing for either distance or height.
Well, thanks, Joe. And the officials for today's games provided by and sanctioned with TAC, the Athletics Congress. Ready now for our opening event. This is boys Group 2 400-meter semifinals. Let's set the field with Willie White.
David Benoit, we met him earlier, from Buffalo. He's in lane 7. In lane 6 is David Mahoney from Philadelphia.
In the next lane is Ed Frazier from Louisville, Kentucky. This young man told us that until track came along, football was the only sport he cared about. Weight training was Edward's primary preparation for football. He still works out every day, but has added exercises that will help him with track as well as football.
I talked to my mother and my father, and they said I shouldn't be that big if I wanted to play football. So I didn't get that big, so I just kind of stayed in shape, and then I used track for just to stay in shape too. Track will give me a lot more speed for football, and it'll be easy on me because I'll have 2 sports, because I'll get in shape for one sport and it'll keep me in another shape for the next sport, you know.
Considering that at this point Ed's next sport is football with only a 100-yard playing field, we asked Ed why he picked a long-distance event.
I picked the 400-meter event because when I jog, I could jog for a long time, and I figured if I could jog, I could run a race with a jogging pace and a running pace. I could probably win because I can jog a long time and not run out of breath.
His training paid off at the regionals in Louisville.
I started off kind of slow, and they kind of left me, and I was kind of too far back. But I just kept on trying, and I just kept the same pace, and I caught up, and then at a certain time, I built up speed, and I built up my speed, and I just passed them up.
Edward Frazier of Louisville.
And Joe, next to him in lane 4 is Mike Kirkendall from Seattle. In lane 3 is Kendrick Carker in San Francisco. And running in lane 2 is Steve Warmack from Anchorage.
And the officials' whistles indicating we're ready for a start now in Group 2, boys semifinals 400 meters. These are youngsters aged 12 and 13, as you can see, staggered according to their lanes, with the favorites in the middle lanes. And immediately, Frazier sets a nice pace as he goes off the far turn and down the long back straightaway. Willie, what are they thinking about now as they look down that long straightaway?
This is the most crucial part of this race, because this is where all the pain come in. And if they can make it through this last 100 meters, they're in good shape.
Edward Frazier, you heard him tell us that in the regionals, he had to come from behind and pass everybody up. He's not taking any chances in the semifinal, as right now he is comfortably out in front, running in the middle of the track in lane number 5, coming off the turn, but now a challenge coming up on his inside. That's Mike Kirkendall from Seattle in lane 4, who's going to make a run now at Edward Frazier. Frazier appears to be tiring. Kirkendall trying to suck up enough strength to possibly pass him, but no, it's going to be Edward Frazier just leaning past Mike Kirkendall at the tape, so Louisville's Edward Frazier gets the win.
Edwards had almost too fast a pace for himself, but he managed to hang on. Now we shift over to boys Group 2 high jump. The bar is at 4.4, and this is Walter Ruskin of Chicago, and he makes it.
Absolutely no problem for Ruskin. Remember, it's 4.4, one of the preliminary heights. Here's a look now at Steve Cruikshank from Cheektowaga, New York. He competes on the Buffalo team, and again, no problem for Steve.
Made it easily. Next up will be Sam Brandon from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. He's jumping for the Philadelphia team. Here he comes now. He's up and over.
You can see that Sam had a good 6 inches or so to spare. Rather casual in his preliminary effort here at 4 feet 4 inches. Next on the approach now, Chris Witherspoon from Eagle River, Alaska. He competes with the Anchorage team, and again, no problem for him as he flops over comfortably by a good half foot.
And this is Nico King from Fresno jumping for San Francisco, and he makes it. I think they've all got it pretty well in hand at this height. Everything well in hand in boys Group 2 high jump, so moving on to girls Group 2 high jump.
This is Joette Barnes from Houston, Texas, and the girls are starting at 3 feet 10 inches, and Joette having a bit of a problem on that first attempt.
This is Elise Blair from Seattle. She has no problem.
And Elise now to be followed by Ann Kelsey from the Buffalo team, makes her home in Alexander, New York. And no problem for Ann at 3 feet 10 inches. Let's go quickly down to Willie, who's with Edward Frazier.
Edward Frazier from Louisville. Congratulations on winning your preliminary heat in the 400 meters. The 400 meters is a race of physical and mental toughness. You had difficulties in your last 50 yards. How do you account for that?
Well, I started off kind of fast, but I just kept on. I didn't look back. Just kept going. Heard them cheer me on, so I just gave it all I had.
Responding to the exhorts of his teammates in the crowd, Edward Frazier now into the finals as we prepare now for the girls Group 3 400-meter semifinal. And starting in lane number 7, here's Shannon O'Neill from Bellingham, Washington.
And this is Kimberly Beard from Houston in lane 6.
Alongside in lane 5 on the headband, Camille Brown from Los Angeles. And in lane 4, Mary Sproul from the San Francisco Bay Area.
Lane 3 is Vanessa Zoli of Buffalo, and lane 2, Carrie Zenor of Anchorage.
And the starter's gun gets our field underway. Willie, the question here, with the staggered start, is there an advantage to be on the inside or the outside?
It's a psychological advantage to be on the inside, because when you're on the inside, you can see those who are up in front of you, and therefore you feel that you can catch them versus being on top running alone, not knowing who's close to you.
Well, Kimberly Beard in lane number 6, the taller of the two girls on the right-hand side of the screen, appears to have the early advantage. Kimberly from Houston. We're keeping an eye on Camille Brown. They're seated according to their qualifying times in the regional competition, and Camille is the best of this group, supposedly. She's in lane 5, but she's lagging a bit off the pace. Now the field begins to tighten. This could be a tremendous battle, and for the first time now we see Camille Brown with a headband in lane 5 beginning to show the form that made her the top qualifier for this semifinal. Camille Brown in lane 5. On the inside of her, Vanessa Zoli from Buffalo making a challenge, but Camille Brown appears to have this one well in hand. She strides through the tape, the winner of the girls Group 3 400-meter semifinal.
Willie, she looked like she had plenty left over at the end.
That's right. You know, the 400 meters is a race of mental and physical toughness. And as you can see, Camille had her race already planned. She knew exactly what she wanted to do. The last 30 and 40 yards of the 400 meters is very crucial. This is when you must hold your form. And as you can see, her form is very good, and that enabled her to pick up and accelerate away from her competitors.
So Camille Brown is advanced to the finals. She'll be definitely one we'll be watching in the women's final Group 3 a bit later on at 400 meters. We invite you to join us for more of the Arco Jesse Owens Games from San Diego right after this.
So I finally get to meet him. He'll be here any minute. You've been keeping him a secret? Oh, come on. Here, hold this. Diet Pepsi does taste better than it used to. Hard to believe that's 1 calorie. They improved it with NutraSweet. Don't drink it all. Are those my shoes? No. Here he is. I'm ready. I'll probably steal him from you during dinner. Not a chance. Hi, Daddy. Hi.
Taste improved by Diet Pepsi.
Are you like me? I wasn't born with luscious lips, but I can change that. I wasn't born with high cheekbones, but I can change that. I wasn't born with big blue 20/20 eyes either, but now I can change that too. With soft colors, soft contact lenses in blue, aqua, green, and amber. Soft colors not only correct your vision, they make your eyes more beautiful. Call your eye care professional about soft colors by Seba for the eyes you wish you'd been born with.
It was just after Danny's 4th birthday that we knew something was wrong.
When the doctor said cancer, I cried.
I felt like I was being smothered.
I thank United Way for helping save Danny's life.
I thank the people who give to United Way. Their money helped provide the research and treatment that's finally giving us hope.
Without your help, we can't help, but with it, we can do wonders.
Jesse Owens' first gold medal at the 1936 Berlin Olympics was in the long jump. His jump of 26 feet 5 3/8 inches set a world record. And that takes us into the boys' Group 1 long jump. Gary?
Zachary Lewis on the runway, the youngster from Houston, Texas. Remember, these are 10 and 11-year-olds. Zachary coming out of the pits and getting the measurement, 11 feet 5 1/4 inches. Zachary Lewis. Zachary, with the appearance that he's not real happy with his performance, obviously thought he could do better than 11 5 1/4.
On the runway is Des Moines Broadwater from Syracuse, New York. Des Moines' jump was a good jump. Des Moines is using the hitch kick form, which is excellent. His jump is 12 feet 7 3/4 inches, and as you can see, he appears to be a little pleased.
Casey McMillan now, competing on the Dallas team, makes his home in Odessa, Texas. Casey coming down the runway. Pretty good speed. Good lift, little hitch there in that jump, and that appears to be a very fine effort. Awaiting the numbers, 14 feet exactly for Casey McMillan. The youngest of the age groups competing here, the 10 and 11-year-olds in boys 1 long jump.
This is girls group 2 high jump now.
Heidi Taylor from Skagit, Washington, competes for the Bellingham team, running up to the bar and then apparently having some second thoughts as she goes back now to try to get her concentration together and get ready for another attempt here at 4 feet 2 inches. See what happens this time now. Heidi up, the Hosbury flop, but not quite enough lift as she got into the bar with her back and does not make the attempt at 4 feet 2 inches. Our next competitor, Kelly Reed from Linwood, New Jersey, competing for Philadelphia.
Kelly lives on the Jersey Shore, about an hour and a half from Philadelphia. She's pretty serious about her high jumping, but like any teenager, she likes to socialize and have fun.
I live in Linwood, New Jersey, and I like to come to Ocean City on the weekends here on the boardwalk. We go in the arcades and on the rides.
And eat teenage health food, that's pizza. But in spite of all these distractions, Kelly's concentration was on the high jump. She made the team in Philadelphia on her way to San Diego.
Taking a look now at Kelly Reed from the Jersey Shore to Chalk Stadium here in San Diego. The height is 4 feet 2 inches. Kelly's attempts, oh, very nice. Sails over the bar comfortably as she moves, advances now, moving up in this competition in girls Group 2 high jump. We're looking now at Lori Carper. She represents the San Francisco Bay Area, Fremont, California, her home, and with a very calculated approach, a very determined approach. Lori is easily over, also at 4 feet 2 inches.
It's time now to switch over to our next running event, the girls Group 3 400-meter semifinal. And let's have those lane placements now.
Karen Johnson, Louisville, is running in lane 8. Next to her in lane 7 is Shalene Kent from Seattle, Washington. Running in lane 6 is April Quillen from Philadelphia.
And in the next lane is Courtney Segrest, who hails from Richardson, Texas, just outside Dallas. She's a great sportswoman, and this summer her sport was golf. Courtney took up golf to spend time with one of her best pals, her dad. They're both sports crazy, but her dad is as proud of her straight A average as he is of her involvement in golf, track, volleyball, and basketball. Courtney's modest about her musical ability. After many years of lessons, she practices the piano in her bedroom, surrounded by the things that mean the most to her, like her hunting trophies and some old childhood companions. And over her desk, a prized doll collection, as well as Grandma's heirloom teacups. But you can't help notice the centerpiece of her room, hanging prominently over her bed.
I really like Mary Decker, and that's why I have a poster of her over my bed. And I was real excited to get it because I think she's a neat person, and I'd like to be more like her.
So Courtney practices with the help of her dad and little brother.
I like track because it's your own self, and in basketball, if you lose, your team loses, or if you win, your team wins. But in track, if you lose, then it's your own fault, and you can work to be better. And then when you win, you can be proud of your own self, and you know that you did it.
You know, Joe, she's going to need all this practice because next to her in lane 4 is Pamela Ashford from Chicago, my hometown, and she's going to give all the trouble she can handle. Running in lane 3 is Amy Fenton from Pittsburgh, and in lane 2 is Joy Zimmerman from Fairbanks, Alaska.
Starter's gun gets the field underway. This is the final semifinal event now, the final group of qualifiers that will go into the girls Group 3 400-meter event. And look at this, Karen Johnson out there in lane 8 from Louisville. She is smoking the field, at least through that first turn. Now, Willie, what do you think? She going to be able to keep this up?
Well, she started out in the outside lane, so therefore she has advantage because they have not caught up to the stagger. But we got to wait until they come off that last turn.
Karen Johnson really setting the pace. She's still running very, very strong, but she has that long stretch run yet to go as now the rest of the field begins to tighten things up just a bit. We're keeping an eye on Pamela Ashford from Chicago. She's in lane number 4, and she's closing ground. Indeed, she is. Ashford coming on strong. Karen Johnson beginning to lose some of that early momentum. And just as Willie White mentioned moments ago, Pamela Ashford is really coming on. She is now dominating, controlling this race. Pamela Ashford, shaking off the early challenge of Karen Johnson, has herself a spot against Camille Brown now in the finals of the girls' Group 3 400 meters.
Here we are now at the boys' Group 2 high jump.
And, Joe, we're down to 2 finalists, 2 young men on this 12 and 13-year-old age bracket, attempting at 5 feet 5 inches. This is Jason Carpin. We're watching now from Seattle, and Jason can't quite get up and over the bar, which means now that if Mike Fitzgerald can clear at this height, Fitzgerald would be the winner. So obvious disappointment for Jason Carpin as Fitzgerald now gets set, eyeing the bar. Remember, if he makes the height, he will be the winner here in the Arco Jesse Owens Games for 1984. Fitzgerald, beautiful form, and he easily cleared 5.5. He looked like he had another 5 inches to spare, Willie.
His vertical lift was good. He led with his arms, and the arch was fabulous over the bar.
Getting congratulations from Jason Carpin, who is the silver medalist, and Shad Salisbury, who will be the bronze medal winner. Mike Fitzgerald, your gold medalist. Let's take another look.
You can see the intensity in Mike's eyes. His eyes are on the bar. His approach is good, smooth, even. His vertical lift is great. The arch is fabulous. This is a coach's dream.
And now we're over at the boys' Group 1 long jump again. And Tyson Elmendorf from Bellingham, Washington, is about to take off on the runway through some sort of pre-jump ritual. What do you think about before you do a jump like this, Willie?
The concern at this moment is to hit the board, because if you foul, it means you're out.
All right, here comes Tyson now. And there he goes.
Have your attention, please.
And nice jump, no foul called. And his distance, 13 feet, 3 1/4 inches for Tyson Elmendorf of Bellingham, Washington. This is Jess Elsie of Glendora, California, jumping for LA, coming down the runway now. He's out. Foul. Oh, just what you said, Willie. Just what you were afraid of.
Oh, that's a shame, because he's a perfect little hang jumper.
And making the transition now from the long jump pit back onto the running surface. We're ready for the boys Group 3 400-meter second semifinal. Final group of qualifiers. And as we set the field, Phil Heaven from Bellingham. We met him earlier. Remember, he's tried 3 times now to get into the finals. He's in lane 7. Larry Grimm from Philadelphia in lane 6. Here's Coy Ford from Dallas in lane 5. Bertino Smith from Chicago in lane 4. Angelo DiDomenico from Buffalo in lane 3. And Philip Renke from Anchorage, Alaska, rounds out the field. Timers and judges are ready. Awaiting now the starting command. And out of the crouch, the boys Group 3 400-meter semifinal is underway. Coy Ford in lane 5 from Dallas having some problems there. Look at him reach over and grab the strap on his jersey. Now, how much of a distraction is that going to be to his concentration, Willie?
That won't affect his concentration too much, because right now he's trying to get out of that turn, get off that last 300.
Coy Ford from Dallas apparently has got the jersey squared away. He is definitely in command, but remember, it's a staggered start, so we'll be watching the inside lanes to see if anybody can make up ground on the stagger as they head for the final turn. And now it'll be the long push down the straightaway. Bertino Smith from Chicago is rapidly closing, running very loosely, very comfortably. Smith taking charge of this race as Ford now begins to fade. Ford may have a problem hanging on for second. It'll be Bertino Smith decisively through the tape. He's the winner in this semifinal at 400 meters. And for Phil Heaven, well, his day is over in San Diego.
But you can rest assured, Gary, that Phil Heaven's day was made just by being here. And we'll be back with more Arco Jesse Owens Games after this.
Honey, squeeze me a glass of Tropicana.
Squeeze me a glass of Tropicana. Squeeze me a glass of Tropicana orange juice.
Now Tropicana has a new, fresher taste. Tropicana orange juice from concentrate tastes so fresh, so juicy, you'll swear you squeeze it yourself.
Squeeze me a glass of Tropicana.
Squeeze me
a glass of Tropicana.
We interrupt this International House of Pancakes commercial with another commercial. One for our new London broil, new golden chicken, new stuffed potato skins, new sautéed fish, new stir-fried vegetable omelet. In short, our extraordinary new International House of Pancakes after 4 p.m. dinner menu. 15 delicious new entrees and all, deliciously priced still, like hot cakes.
We need more love to share all around, and we need it from all of you. From moms and dads, kids and grams, for people like me and you. 'Cause without your love, your helping hand, there's little that they can do, except look to us, the united way, to make tomorrow a better day. But without your help, we can't help, but with it, we can do wonders. Without your help, we can't help, but with it, we can do wonders.
With Joe Campanella and Willie White, I'm Gary Gerald, welcoming you back to San Diego, where we're watching boys in Group 1 compete in the long jump. We're looking at Lance Taylor, a 10-year-old from Terre Haute, Indiana, competes on the Louisville team. Lance getting out there. It's a good fair jump.
Lance could have jumped farther had he not dropped his eyes. When you drop your eyes, you drop your legs. When you drop your legs, you lose distance.
13 feet, 11 1/2 inches for Lance Taylor. Which brings us now to Aubrey Brian Smith, Jr. from Illinois.
Whenever the weather's nice, you can find Brian, as he prefers to be called, riding past the swimming hole just down the road from his home in rural Crete, Illinois. He's been taking riding lessons for over a year now, and he loves it. Brian's an easygoing, friendly young man who didn't believe that he would win the Chicago Regional. Brian just went out and did his best.
This is the videotape somebody made for my father and my family so they could see me and doing my long jump. Here I come. I was really surprised when I jumped 13.3.
Okay, here we go.
All right. I was really surprised because I wasn't running too fast and everything. I was just hoping that I could make it to get the farthest jump.
Brian Smith, epitomizing the true spirit of the Arco Jesse Owens Games. As Jesse himself once said, go out and do your best. And here's Brian now. He's in 7th place. He's chasing the leader at 14.8, Eric Marsh, and I don't think that Brian is going to be able to improve too much. 12 feet 6 1/4 inches for the young man from the Chicago team. Eric Marsh now on the runway. He's the leader at 14.8, his home in Hellertown, Pennsylvania. And Eric gets out there. Nice extension once again. And he certainly, in fact, he will be their winner. 14 feet 9 inches as Eric Marsh gets a gold medal here in San Diego. Willie, nice form for the young man.
Eric's form is good. As you know, Eric is a very aggressive runner. He hits the board very well. His head's back, eyes up, legs out. Good jump.
14 feet 9 inches, good for the gold in Group 1. Here's the winner in Group 2, Dion Phillips from San Jose, California. 17 feet 5 inches, representing the San Francisco Bay Area team. And in Group 3, Tom Pryor didn't make it, but Tony Felton from Rochester, New York, the gold medal winner at 20 feet 5 1/4 inches. Ready now for girls Group 2 200-meter semifinal. And our first opportunity to look at a sprint field, Nancy Goldman from Chicago in lane 8. And here's Tiffany Riddick from San Francisco alongside.
Tiffany loves to dance. With some help from her mother, she does her own choreography to express her feelings in motion and rhythm. Through dance, Tiffany can express her individuality, but she receives plenty of support from her close-knit family as well. You can often find her playing basketball with her dad, the Reverend Riddick, and her older sister, Chanda, who also competed in the San Francisco Regionals and won a gold medal for the 100-meter event in her age group. Chanda likes to help out in the daycare center by the Chapel Hill Baptist Church, where her dad is pastor. She also teaches Sunday school and says that teaching younger children how to deal with their problems helps her in dealing with her own. Someday, she'd like to be a lawyer. But for now, Shonda and her younger sister Tiffany are working together toward a goal that's a lot closer, to bring home 2 gold medals from the Arco Jesse Owens Games. Shonda and Tiffany Riddick from San Francisco, bringing a little physical into their spiritual world.
And checking the rest of the field, here's Stacy Wyatt from Philadelphia in lane 6, LaDawn Rainwater from Louisville in lane 5, Latrice Tennyson from Houston in lane 4, Patty Church from Bellingham in lane 3, and Audrey Pettis rounds out the field from Anchorage. A lot of breeze blowing now, as evidenced by the banner across the track here as these young women, this is Group 2, ages 12 and 13, ready for our first semifinal at 200 meters. The gun is up, and the field is off. In the outside lane, Nancy Goldman from Chicago out early, but in the middle of the field, LaDawn Rainwater coming on from Louisville. LaDawn Rainwater in lane number 5. Long, smooth, controlled stride. Has a challenger inside, Latrice Tennyson from Houston, but it looks like Rainwater now pulling away. Smooth acceleration down the stretch in the final 50 meters. LaDawn Rainwater now totally controlling this race. She'll win by a good 10 meters. Very impressive performance, Willie White, by LaDawn Rainwater.
LaDawn's race was impressive. It was impressive from start to finish. You must run the 200 from start to finish. You must run the turn hard, and that's exactly what LaDawn did.
And a chance for us now to check on activity in the girls' Group 2 high jump. We're down to our last 2 finalists. Here's Lori Morgan from Newport, Indiana. Remember, this is the girl that rides the bus all the way down to Louisville to win the regional, and she clears at 5 feet 3 inches. Nice effort by Lori Morgan. Lori has aspirations of someday being an Olympic high jumper. Her competition, Kathy Pesdertz from Palatine, Illinois, also at 5 feet 3. And Kathy unable to get over that 5'3" barrier, so she will have to settle for a silver medal. And Lori Morgan from Newport, Indiana, is our gold medal winner, a 13-year-old who hopes someday to be an Olympic athlete.
It's time now to go to the girls' Group 3 long jump. And this is Letitia Burnett from Venice, California.
Letitia getting out at 15 feet 5 3/4 inches. Letitia Burnett from L.A. at 15 5 3/4 as she ponders how she might get a few more precious inches. Karen Allen now from Oak Harbor, Washington on the runway. Chops the steps a little bit. Oh, and then falls back. That has to be disappointing for Karen. 15 feet 1 1/2 inches, and certainly that little fall backwards cost her dearly. Let's go now to Willie. She's with our high jump winner, Lori Morgan.
Your victory here today, you won. Was it because of hard practice? Was it because of what your coach told you? Or was it because of desire?
It was because of my coach and just because I've worked hard at it for a long time.
How long have you been high jumping?
About 4.5 years.
Why the high jump?
I don't know. I love it. I can't stop. I don't really like anything else.
The Arco Games. What do you think about the Arco Games, and why do you compete?
They're great. I don't see, they just put out all their money and everything for us.
Lori, congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Lori Morgan, a winner at 5 feet 3 inches. Here now in Group 3 long jump competition, Ada Banks from Oakland. And Ada at 13 feet 10 3/4 inches. There's much more coming up from the Arco Jesse Owens Games in San Diego. We hope you'll stay with us.
So I finally get to meet him. He'll be here any minute. You've been keeping him a secret? Oh, come on. Here, hold this. Diet Pepsi does taste better than it used to. Hard to believe that's 1 calorie. They improved it with NutraSweet. Don't drink it all. Are those my shoes? No. Here he is. I'm ready. I'll probably steal him from you during dinner. Not a chance. Hi, Daddy. Hi.
Taste improved by Diet Pepsi.
Spotlight Savings Time.
Spotlight Savings Time means Homemakers is spotlighting spectacular savings in every furniture department during this great event. A $200 Sealy mattress for $99. A $250 Row chair, only $149. A $1,300 Burlington bedroom, $999. So hurry to Homemakers while the savings spotlight is on.
Spotlight Savings Time.
I never thought about my Joseph dying. Then suddenly I was all alone. My children had grown and gone, and my memories became nightmares. Without United Way, no, without the people who give to United Way, I'd still have nightmares. But their money helped give me a new home and good memories again.
Without your help, we can't help, but with it, we can do wonders.
After finishing second to Mac Robinson in his 200-meter qualifying heat, Jesse Owens came back to run a 20.7 in the finals for another gold medal. And now we have the boys Group 2 200-meter semifinal.
Let's set the field now for these 12 and 13-year-olds. Sean Poe from Fairbanks outside in lane 8. In lane 7, William Dallas from the Pittsburgh team. In lane 6, Wallace Wright from Louisville. Eric Jones, definitely one to keep an eye on. He's the top seed in this field from Philadelphia. Ireland Prescia from Buffalo. Randy Pristis from San Francisco. And here's Lance Dawson from Bellingham in lane 2. Bob Kirchhoff, the starter for this competition here in San Diego, as we're ready now for our first semifinal, Group 2 boys, 200 meters. The wind still very much a factor. It's a headwind as they come off the corner and down the stretch. Eric Jones, lane 5, showing us tremendous form, not to mention tremendous speed. He is quickly out in front. He made up the stagger immediately. And look at Eric Jones bring it down the straightaway.
Eric's arm pump is excellent.
Oh, what a great performance as Eric Jones just breezes to a semifinal victory. Absolutely no problem there for Eric. He is going to be a tough man to beat, I have a feeling, in the finals.
This is the girls' Group 3 long jump now, and coming up the runway is Adrian Wilson from Louisville, Kentucky.
Adrian, a 15-year-old who got interested in the Arco Jesse Owens game from a friend who made the Nationals a couple of years ago. And look at this, 16 feet, 8 3/4 inches. Magnificent effort for the young lady who says Carl Lewis is one of her idols.
But she has other interests besides athletic competition, Gary.
I've been crocheting since I was 9. Right now I'm working on it, and I've made other things like pillows, afghans, blankets, baby items. Crocheting came before sports. They don't have anything in common. I like them. I get a lot of support from my father at school. He just that I believe in.
All right, you're good knee, very good drive, very well there.
Mr. Shannon, she's 11. She usually helps me on the long jump. She'll mark my spot, my starting position, so that I'm run to stand by the word to scratch knot. And she really feels she's really held like that way too, so she's enjoying it too. The nicest thing about having my family that they're always behind you. It may not remember to them. As long as you're putting forth a good effort, that's about all that really matters.
And Adrian Wilson put her best effort out as she won. The silver was won by Karen Allen of Bellingham and the bronze by Christine Canis of Houston.
And Group 2, Cindy Group, Newport competing on the team. The winner, 5.5. Girls groups from Missouri competing with the team at 1 1/2 inches. Ready now for the girls' Group 3 200-meter semifinal. And as we take a look at the field, we see Karma Zimmerman from Fairbanks in lane 8, Robin Tilley from Seattle in lane 7, alongside Terry Robinson from Louisville. Here's Deshaun O'Neill from Buffalo in lane 5. And in lane 4, Cheryl Baker from Philadelphia.
Besides the Liberty Bell, Philadelphia is famous for a special style of rope skipping called double dutch. It's tough, and that's what Cheryl Baker likes about it.
When I'm not running track, I like to jump rope. Regular jump rope is a little easier than double dutch. Because all you do is turn and it's jump with one rope. With double dutch, you jump with 2. I do turn around, speed up, I like jumping fast.
All that double dutch will make her tough competition for the young lady lane, who is Monica Bell of Houston.
And rounding out the field, Deanna Alsbach from Anchorage. She starts in lane 2. Once again now, this is girls Group 3, the 14 and 15-year-olds at 200 meters. Starter's gun is up. And we're off now. Top 3 finishers will transfer to the finals as they make the turn. The wind at their back only briefly, and now into the wind, and here comes Cheryl Baker. Cheryl Baker in lane 4, but moving up in lane number 6, Terry Robinson from Louisville. This may be a fight right down to the finish. Now Baker begins to take command, however. The Philadelphia runner in lane 4 appears to be breezing along to a spot now in the finals later this afternoon. The top 3 finishers from each of the semifinals, plus the next 2 fastest by time, will constitute the 8-member field for the finals later this afternoon. The nation's finest young athletes competing in the Arco Jesse Owens Games from San Diego. Stay with us.
Somebody squeeze me a glass of Tropicana.
Squeeze me a glass of Tropicana. Squeeze me a glass of Tropicana. Orange juice.
Now Tropicana has a new, fresher taste. Tropicana orange juice from concentrate tastes so fresh, so juicy, you'll swear you squeezed it yourself.
Squeeze me a glass of Tropicana.
Squeeze me.
A glass of Tropicana.
This is the new taco salad from Taco Bell. The salad in a bowl. You can eat.
The freshest things from Taco Bell, served up in a flake flour shell.
That's my bowl.
Taco salad, ooh, what a treat.
I'm gonna eat the bowl, but I'm gonna break it first.
Just made for you in a bowl you can't eat.
Oops, all gone. Guess you'll just have to try one for yourself. You know where.
Taco Bell, it's just made for you.
This is the hard side of Chicago, where life can be a dead-end street without someone who cares. Hi, I'm Walter Payton of the Chicago Bears, and I know because I grew up in a neighborhood where we didn't have agencies and programs to help keep kids on the right track. But here in Chicago, we do. Let me show you what I mean, guys. Let's see if we can make it to the lake. Let's go for it. It doesn't make any difference what age you are or what neighborhood you live in. Youth agencies like the Wise and Scouting, Campfire, and Big Brothers and Sisters, Boys and Girls Clubs, and others are giving youngsters here in Chicago a chance. We're proud of Chicago and all the United Way agencies that make sure that every kid has a chance to go for it in life. We made it! Thanks to you, it works for all of us. United Way.
This is Joe Campanella with Willie White and Gary Gerald back at the Arco Jesse Owens Games. The girls Group 3 200-meter run. We've just seen the end of the first heat, and here's Gary with our winner, Cheryl Baker.
Well, here's Cheryl. And Cheryl, I guess all that double Dutch jumping that I've heard about is paying off. That looked very impressive.
Thank you. It has been.
Was it as easy as you'd hoped it might be?
No, I thought I was going to have trouble because I'm having troubles with my hip now.
What kind of a problem are you having?
I have a hip pointer.
Now, is that going to bother you a little bit when you get to the finals?
I don't think so.
You just have to block it out of your mind and give it your best shot, huh?
Uh-huh.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Let's set the field now for the second heat of the girls Group 3 200-meter run.
And starting from the inside in lane 2, this is Kimberly Turner from Chicago. Brenda Buck from Bellingham, Washington in lane 3. The San Francisco Bay Area has Tracy Green in lane 4. Crystal Irving from Los Angeles in lane 5, the blue jersey. And Chandra Williams from Dallas in lane 6.
And the next lane, representing Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, is Jill Thiergood. She's a very competitive athlete who has a quiet side to her as well. When we visited her at home, she was in the backyard engrossed in a book. But it wasn't a school book, it was a mystery novel. Naturally, that fit right in when we realized Jill's real hobby is doing jigsaw puzzles.
My aunt used to do puzzles a lot, and I got doing puzzles from her. And I like them because they relax you a lot. And sometimes I have my friends work on it with me. The hardest puzzle I ever worked on was the 7,500-piece puzzle because it's so much sky and so much water, and they're both blue. You need to separate them. When I was finished putting the puzzle together, we got this plastic tape, and we laid it over top and then hung it up on the wall with tacks. That puzzle is hanging in my mom's room. When I finish my smaller puzzles, I usually hang them in my room or down in the den. Altogether, I have around 7 puzzles done. Doing puzzles is my best hobby.
Jill Thiergood from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Ready now for this semifinal run. Girls Group 3. That means this is the oldest group in competition here in San Diego, 14 and 15 years of age. And coming off the line, it looks like the early advantage is going to Tracy Green of San Francisco in lane 4. The yellow or gold jersey. She has made up the stagger early, has taken control. Tracy Green, your leader, but now alongside, here comes Crystal Irving from Los Angeles in blue. Crystal Irving making a run at Tracy Green. Green the early leader, but it's Crystal Irving who's going to take this one going away. Crystal Irving from Los Angeles by a matter of perhaps 4 yards, getting the victory in the final semifinal here. And she'll be going up against Cheryl Baker, which should be quite a showdown now at 200 meters. Let's go to the infield and Joe Campanella.
Thanks, Gary. I have the pleasure of having with me Mrs. Ruth Owens, Mrs. Jesse Owens. This is 20 years now, Mrs. Owens. Is it everything you wanted it to be?
Yes, it is, and then some. I think the Arco Games represents everything that, can I say, the Olympics?
Absolutely.
Because these young people out here fighting just as hard as the ones that are running in the Olympic Games. And I think it means just as much to them because they have watched the Olympic Games, and they look forward to someday we will see some of these young men, young boys and girls in the Olympics.
Thank you very much, Ruth Owens.
And indeed, such a delight to have Mrs. Owens here watching the competition at Chalk Stadium in San Diego. Ready now for the boys Group 3 200-meter semifinal. And in lane 7, David Adelot from Seattle. Anthony Thomas from Louisville alongside. Curtis Henderson, top seed in this field in lane 5 from Philadelphia. Richard Cooper represents Buffalo. Clarence Johnson from Bellingham will be in lane number 3. And on the inside of the track, Fred Gamble from Fairbanks. Once again, a reminder now that the fastest in the preliminary rounds and the regional qualifiers have been seated in the middle of the track. So we keep our eyes on Henderson in lane 5, Thomas in lane 6, Cooper in lane 4.
And if it seems a little quieter, Gary, it's because they took that banner down.
And very possibly it has worked to the liking of Curtis Henderson, because in lane 5, he just exploded on the start, and he's already opened up a tremendous lead as they come off the corner.
Curtis knows that in order to win this 200 meters, he must run the turns hard, and that is exactly what he did, maintaining his form all the way to the end. And that is what is needed to win this 200 meters.
A semifinal victory for Curtis Henderson from Philadelphia, and a lopsided romp it was. He will definitely be a factor now in the finals if this semifinal is any indicator whatsoever.
This is the girls' Group 3 high jump, and this is Sarah Lawn from Fairbanks, Alaska.
So this is Sarah's last jump at 4.8. If she misses this, she's out.
Too bad. Sarah Lawn, Fairbanks, Alaska.
Now facing a similar situation, Heidi Hudson from Waukesha, Illinois, the Chicago winner, and almost got over the bar, but she just grazed it. She, too, now falls by the wayside. We have much more coming up as we feature the finest young track and field athletes the country has to offer here in San Diego. Stay tuned for more of the Arco Jesse Owens Games.
I think I found some candles.
I got some matches. What's that?
Here's to good friends.
Power company.
How about a little blackout party?
You're crazy.
Not entirely.
The beer we'll pour. Must say something more somehow.
We didn't even finish the Lowenbrow.
That's better. Let it be Lowenbrow.
Football is back. Saturday, September 1st, Northern Illinois kicks off its 1984 season against West Texas State on Channel 7. Tim Weigel, Mike Adamley, and Jimmy Pearsall bring you exclusive live coverage of every tackle, every touchdown, and interviews with the Huskies' new coach, Lee Corso. Live college football begins Saturday, September 1st at 12:30 only on Channel 7.
I don't know what happened. One day she was